Welcome to my study today. I'm going to have a look at pronouns, words like my and mine. I'll have a very close look at the third person it and how we use it in a special way, and there's an exercise for you to practice which follows. So let's get started. The good news is that in English you don't have to learn too many words to show a possessive adjective or a possessive pronoun, because we don't have a gender for our nouns. We don't have masculine or feminine. The word usually only agrees with the person who does the possessing, like this. This is my book. That book is mine. I can, however, change the demonstrative pronoun. That's this and that depends where I am when I actually use the word, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. This is my house. That house is yours. This is his key. That key is his. This is her cow. That cow is hers. And that's a good example because a cow is obviously feminine, but the word of possession doesn't change. The adjective doesn't change. This is her cow, nor does the possessive pronoun. That cow is hers. This is our money. That money is ours. This is their garden. That garden is theirs. Now here's a special note regarding the third person. In modern English, some people do not like using the pronouns him, her, his and hers because they are gender specific. You will see they, them, their and theirs used instead. But this is a matter of choice. So you might see he opened his book, or in modern English, they opened their book. It's really up to you how you use these. The interrogative pronouns help us form questions. Who, what and which. Notice how I pronounce that. Who, what and which. Who is that man? What is that? Which way do we go? The demonstrative pronouns point things out. They indicate things. This is a car. These are books. That is a star. Those are trees. Now I do have a separate video on this because it's quite a big subject, and I'll leave a link below. Now let's have a closer look at some of the rules of how we deal with pronouns. I like ice cream. I is always written with a capital letter. We and us. It means me and you, me and him or her, me and all the other people. A king can refer to himself in a speech as we, and you might listen for that in the coronation of King Charles, which is coming up in the summer. You may well hear him say we when he speaks about himself. The second person, thou, thee and ye, are not really used in English anymore. It's a bit of a shame because we can't speak to someone in a familiar way, someone in our family, as you can in French, for example. But you will still see these pronouns used if you're reading poetry, or certainly if you're reading Shakespeare. The third person, we've already noted, can be he, him, his, she, her and hers, but we have to take account now of the modern they, them and their. That's my car. She's a beauty. Now you might find that unusual because I said we don't have gender in English nouns, but when we're talking about something like a car, a boat or an aeroplane, we will very often use the pronoun she. She's a beauty. And also for a country. France has done what she agreed to do. That's a very common thing in diplomatic speech. The third person it is interesting. It's generally used for things, of course. It is a bottle. But it's also used to introduce scientific phrases and a number of other phrases which we'll look at more closely in a moment. It is raining or snowing. How far is it? It is 25 kilometres to London. It says closed. Now I'm referring to the sign, and the thing we do not say in English is it is written, it is closed. We use the verb to say. It says closed. It is my dog. He can be very naughty. Now we quite often refer to animals as it, and after we've spoken about them for the first time, we quite often again change it to the gender. So we could say he, or we could say she. He can be very naughty. We use it to introduce a sentence or a phrase, to help it flow. It was John who stole the money. It is not really the subject of this sentence. John is the subject. And if I put it in a conventional way, I would say John it was who stole the money. But that wouldn't make a lot of sense to most people, so we use the introductory it. It was John who stole the money. It is houses we need for the homeless. Now you notice here that there's a plural following the singular verb. It is houses. That's quite permissible in English. And then an infinitive clause, it is better to be early for a meeting. It is introduces the phrase. When the subject of a sentence is a clause like this, that the door is locked is strange, we use it because it just helps make more sense of the sentence. It is strange that the door is locked. But as previously, it is not the subject of the sentence. That the door is locked, that's the whole phrase, is the subject. It is strange that the door is locked. A previously mentioned phrase can also be substituted conveniently by it. He wears boots in bed, but I don't like it. I mean, I don't like the wearing of boots in bed, but that would make the sentence very difficult to deal with, so we can simply replace it with the word it. And impersonal verbs, we use it as a subject. It looks serious. They're having an argument, aren't they? It seems serious. It appears serious. Here are some final notes on our pronouns. John has broken his leg, not the leg. But when the sentence is passive, we sometimes change that. I was hit on the head by a stone because it's a passive sentence, or I can say I was hit on my head by a stone. Reflexive verbs, where the action of the verb returns to the doer, John has hurt himself. But where a preposition comes in a sentence, we have to be more careful. John feels sorry for himself, not John feels sorry for him. That's a very common mistake. And here are the other reflexive pronouns. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves, and oneself. Oneself is slightly unusual in modern English. And when we give an indication of a location, that's a place, did you take your dog with you? We wouldn't say with yourself. And here's one that always causes problems. A friend of mine, not a friend of me. A friend of mine, yours, his, hers, ours, yours, or theirs. Now here are some exercises so you can practice some of these difficult pronouns for yourself. Choose the correct word. Pause the video so you can take your time and work through these pronouns. The answers follow. Next time we'll have a look at modal verbs, in particular can and could. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!